Go ahead and get started. So today we're going to talk about U.S. Rotary Race Club, and our goal is to have a meeting once a week, either on Monday or Tuesday. It'll be either Missy or me running them. The goal is to we have these events that are going on the weekend, but we're not able to really do the awards. So what we were hoping to do is do the awards at these meetings, so we can have some kind of award ceremony for some of our races. But today we're going to talk mainly about at the U.S. Rotary Race Club, what it is, and um, we're also going to talk about app races. There, there's something that we're going to really try to get going in our 50 locations pretty soon. So just get started. If you go to the chat, we're trying to do a roll call. Just post what state you are in for the chat. And just kind of talking about U.S. Road Running, there's really three companies within U.S. Road Running. One is the U.S. Road Running Virtual Races. That's on our website, usroadrunning.com. And then we also have U.S. Road Running Race Club, which is the usroadrunning.net. That's actually, we do that program on Run Sign Up. And then we also have a U.S. Road Running Race Timing, which doesn't really have a website. We do chip timing for the local companies in Pennsylvania, some in Maryland. So there's really just three people here at U.S. Running, our main people that work full time, I should say. We've got a number of race directors and ambassadors and other timers that help out with the events. But me, and then Missy, she does the live races and she does the chip timing. And then Rita, which is my mom, she does all the virtual race stuff. So just going back to, we're talking about the U.S. Rotary Race Club today, and just talk about their goals. There are basically four goals that we have. One is to encourage others to run and walk, and the second is to race. And we want to have a race in every state in the U.S. And third, race every month at each location. And we'll talk a little bit more about how we're planning to do that. And we also want an ambassador assigned at each locations, and we'll talk a little bit more about ambassadors pretty quick here too. So currently the U.S. Road Race Club, the website, like I said, is usroadrunning.net, and we try to post all the events that we have in our 50 different locations all on that website. We currently have 147 members, and we just really started this club this year. And we actually got to our goal before COVID of having 50 races in a month. And they were all live races. Unfortunately, we've had to cancel over 300 races or so. So that's why we're talking about the app race today and see if we can get that going with everybody. The membership is $25 per year to be part of the club. And then the big benefit is that on live races and app races, and what we're calling self-time races, you get 50% off. So if it was, $20 for a race, you would only have to pay $10. So we mentioned the ambassadors earlier. We have two ambassadors that we're trying to get at each location. One is a social media ambassador. So they would help promote races in social media, like our Facebook, our Instagram, and mainly in our group, but trying to build that local network for our locations. And of course, they can earn credit towards free race. And if you're interested in either one of these, you can contact Missy. She's always looking for more ambassadors. The other one is a course ambassador. And the course ambassador may be somebody at a live race that can actually run the race, but they would come and help set up the course for the race. So we've talked about live races and app races and self-timed races. Just kind of our definition. A live race is what we normally talk about. It's a traditional race. It's a race at a location that is timed by the race staff, and everyone meets the same location and time for the start. Medals and bibs are received at the race. So that's what we're used to in the past. So app races are races that are at a location, but you have to use the app for the timing. And we'll talk more about the app. We use what's called RaceJoy, or a certified timer through this run sign up through the RaceJoy program. Missy is actually the one that's certified for us. Medals and bibs are mailed out after the race, but we'll talk a little bit more about app races. I think they're the kind of the new fun thing to do. And then of course there's self-timing races, what we've been doing in the past with the race club. They're similar to a virtual race. We call them self-time races because all you do is you time yourself and you email Missy the time. So similar to a virtual race, but since we have two different companies that have the programs, we call them something else essentially. But all three of these races have award programs too, and they have we do points, series of points for all three of these programs, compared to like the virtual races on usroadrunning.com where we don't actually do series points. So let's go back to this app race. So how it works is, so RaceJoy, basically what happens is we have to have a location, and Missy sets up the course map based on a map that she has through this RaceJoy program. Now, on a typical like GPS run, if you notice, if you ever use two apps at the same time, you come out with a different time because the GPS is bouncing around. So the time you finish, you get two different times if you use two different apps because of their variables. Well, with the app, it actually has a physical point for a start and a physical point for the finish. She also marks the mile markers too. So you have to actually pass those points on the GPS to get your finish time and your start time. So it makes it a lot more accurate than just a GPS run that you're doing, because you have to go to the location. So now you put everybody on the same platform or the same race. A set of, hey, what hills are we going to do for this race? And some people running on a treadmill. Well, with the app race, you can't do that. You physically have to go to one of our 50 locations. And of course, as people ask for more locations, we'll obviously add those for you also. And you still get series points. You get the medals and the bibs still, like we do on all of our events. But it's just a way to be more competitive to these races. So the cost is going to be the same as our live races currently. But like I said, if you join the club, you get 50% off. So I think it's a pretty good deal. You can essentially do a 5K for $12.50 after you join the club. And their locations, with our 50 locations, if you go to usrotoring.net on our run sign up page, you'll see all the locations listed there. And like I said, we'll continue to add those as people request locations. So like I said, during this meeting, what we wanted to do is go over our awards for this last weekend as we're moving forward. With the app races, our goal is to get those 50 locations set up by the 1st of October. And if we can do that, we can get more people to hopefully compete at those locations. And then we'll do an award ceremony right after they close, either on a Monday or Tuesday, depending on availability. So I'm going to go ahead and give this over to Missy. She's going to cover the awards, and then of course the results and the awards, and then races that are coming up this weekend, if she's got that list.
Hello, everybody. I'm first going to go over the awards that we had this weekend. We had 3 different locations where we had self-timed available, and one where we actually did live here in Pennsylvania. Capitol Lake, we had our winners for the 5K was Kristen Meese. I apologize if I saved the names incorrectly. With the time of 35 minutes. And then their second place female was Gracie Meese with the time of 40 minutes. For our 10K, we had Peter O'Donoghue, and his time was 59:37, and that was for our 10K at Capitol Lake. Delta Woods, we had just the 5K participant, and that was Elk Chapels, with a time of 34:03 for our first place female. On to Roof Park, where we had a live race. We had Dallas Edmonstein the third for our first place male with a time of 19:07. Randy Maladinoff with a time of 26:19 for our second place male, and Christopher Manning for a time of 28:52 for a third place male. Females, we have Maddie Moreau with a time of 19:07, Abigail Ferry with a time of 25:11, and Christy Whitewit with a time of 29:02 for our 5K. For 10K, we had just the males, and we had John Laughlin with the time of 58:58, Joel Ute with the time of 1:05:39, and Hal Dar with the time of 1:10:32. With our self-timed event for Roof Park, we had some 5K and 10K participants. For the 5K, we had Sandy Brown. She was our first female, and that was 35:39. And Ed, I see you're on here as well, Ed, or at least you were on a little bit earlier. You were our first place male, 56:05. 10K, we had Victoria Berholtz, and she was our first place female. Just for an example, most of these people, since we didn't have a bigger groups and the age groups weren't very big, they would get 20 points towards our series points. For this coming week, we have, bear with me 1 second. We have a couple self-timed events. We have Callaway, which is in Panama City, Florida, and that is a self-timed and a live event. We have Eastern Regional, which is in Maryland. That is a self-timed event. Alice Methvin is also a self-timed event in Green Springs as well. That is in Deltona, Florida. Langus Riverfront Park, which is in Washington, is a self-timed event. Lost Mountain, which is in Georgia. McKinney Falls, which is also in Georgia. North Collier, Shank Park, Sturgeon City, Trotters Park, and Utangi Park. Also, just for an example, prior to COVID, most of these, as Brandon was saying, were live events, and we do hope to eventually get back to that. But these are also locations that we will be doing applications for October. Just between the approval process through Run Sign Up and Race Joy, it just takes some lag time before we can make them officially live, which we hope to give you updates next week on. I will turn it back over to you, Brandon.
All right, thanks, Missy. We're just gonna do a roll call real quick. If you haven't posted it in the chat, I think I've seen everybody. We got Missy's in Pennsylvania, Brian's in Pennsylvania, Ed's in Pennsylvania, Kendra's in Florida, and of course I'm in Florida now, right now too. And then Rita, my mom, is in Texas. I think I got everybody. If not, post on the chat. And then we do have some people that are on Facebook also, but they haven't posted. They can't see our chat. So, all right. Well, the last thing, just does anybody have any questions about app races or the meetings that we're planning, the club meetings we're planning to have weekly?
And also, just to build onto that, once we start having some of these, I also am going to have videos for everybody for how-tos, because this is such a new program for everybody as well.
Great. I appreciate everybody. We'll go ahead and sign off. Thanks everybody for coming to the meeting. I hope it gave you a little bit more information, and thanks so much to everybody that's running the races currently and earning their series points. So long for now.